Welcome to Therapist Spotlight.
Hello everybody, welcome to Ange's Therapist Spotlight, the podcast where we showcase our wonderful members to the wider community. I'm your host Joshua Brooks, and with us tonight is Enrico Sgarbossa. I stuffed that up, I'm sorry. He's a manual therapist, so we haven't had many manual therapists on Therapist Spotlight, so this is going to be excellent. Enrico, how are you tonight?
Very good, thank you. Thank you, Josh, for having me here tonight. I'm very happy to be able to explain or to answer your question, to get some information about myself or what I'm doing tonight. Thank you very much.
Hey man, it's going to be perfect. So, first question, what got you into natural therapies and what got you into manual therapy?
I started in Italy after school. I was a professional hockey player. That's what I was doing in Italy for a living. And on side of that, I was, of course, be treated daily from physiotherapist and manual therapist. And I get very passionate into it, how the body was basically healing, different therapy than it was applying to me when I was playing. And I started to study in Italy first, manual therapy, sport manual therapy. And after that, when I arrived to Australia, I keep going to study here. So I restudy everything here as well. And I combined basically the two things, what I was doing more sport. And here I developed more manual skill, dry needling, cupping, slightly different way to approach, where maybe in Italy we have more like a focus approach on Western medicine. When in Australia there is a lot of influence by Oriental medicine, Chinese medicine. So that's what really get me into a more broad spectrum of manual therapy.
Yeah, wow. And so what I'll ask is, coming from Italy and being born there and then coming to Australia, have you noticed a difference in the way that we approach sort of natural therapy and manual therapy in the sports? How's it different, do you think?
But here, let's say then in Australia, they have much more differentiation also in the sport. For example, there is a lot of osteopath or Chinese doctor medicine that also look after in sport and people, when in Italy is more physio based.
Okay.
So most of the time when you're doing when you are treating people from sport players, let's say that there is 90% of physiotherapists then also do a slightly bit of manual therapy. Okay. When here is much more divide and also more broad, like there is much more expertise in the field of massage therapist, physiotherapist, osteopathy, chiro, and Chinese doctors then also help for injury and treatment as well. So a person here, they have much more probably way to treat themselves, and that's what I really like it. As a manual therapy, because I can combine slightly different things, different idea, different way to treat clients.
And so with your whole experience in sport, how has that influenced the way that you practice manual therapy? Has it given you a bit more of like a, I guess we know sports stars can sometimes injure themselves a little bit more. So has it given you much more exposure to that kind of acute treatment and how to look after people like that? Or how's it?
Basically the first things is, of course, being a professional sport player, I kind of knew already how bad it could be when I had this injury. So I know how the person come into the treat room and explain me what the injury, how the injury was made, probably have a slightly more deep understanding because I probably had it already, or I feel it, or I experience it. So that's give me something slightly more advantage of that. Knowing also the body quite well as a mechanical things, I knew what could happen if you do this and that. And also in a mind aspect. I also have on my pocket, I'm a meditation teacher and a counselor. So I treat a lot of people with pain, injury related, also an emotional pain point of view, especially post-injury. I see many clients and they scared about go back on the field because of course they fear for injury, and I feel what they feel because I know how what do you have in mind when after you've been out for a few months after the competition and you re-step into the pitch and you say, oh, what's going on here? I'm stable? What's going on? I'm going to be injured again. So I also help the client in a mindful way to approach the healing of the treatment.
Yeah, wow. And so then with your sports background, is that sort of more the clients that you're wanting to treat as the more sports people, or do you just treat every people? Who's your sort of clientele that you're looking for?
At the moment, I really enjoy sport people because that's where I come from. But I also I really like emotional pain relief people. So stress, tension in the body, how they transform into pain. So and we all know by now, 2021, that stress can cause pain and accumulate pain, top of the shoulder, neck pain, head of stomach, and go on with. So I really also like to treat people in that way.
Yeah, wow. And then with your counseling as well, do you do any like sports psychology as well? So do you talk to them about mindset and how to get ready for their sport?
Yeah, I study myself mindfulness in deep. Of course, during my study mindfulness, I also read a few books and do some courses about sport rehab or mentally way to keep going and to do. Plus my personal experience that's probably was something that really touched me as a person, because I did it for many years in Italy, so really helped me to connect with the client, with people that really need that kind of help, not only physically but mentally, to get ready, to get back, to don't give up, and so on.
Yeah, wonderful. And so then, if I'm a new client coming to you, how does the consultation process work with you? What sort of are you looking for? What questions will you ask? What sort of do you do range of motion? What's that whole process look like?
I'm quite first, of course, as many other therapists, I want to have a clear distinction for what the client is there for. Okay, and some people still they not aware of their body and mind, so they come for one things and they end up saying completely different, or to have different symptoms or different way to express themselves. So on the first time, I want to understand a little bit of everything: how you get injured, how do you feel, how much you get in pain for, so and so on. If you give in the right empathy to the client, he will tell you basically what's going on with him. And there is a distinction, of course. If someone comes from a sport injury, we already know then is a sport injuries person. Means that the person probably already see a physio and already been referred, or it come for like a swollen knee, so not much that you can do rather than usually like elevation, ice, or compressing. But anyway, so the distinction of the person coming through that's the most important things, to get straight away an understanding of what the person is there for. Some people come just for a simply relaxation, that is totally fine. Some people is very stressed due work, so they feel pain, they don't sleep well, so on. Ask few particular question, open question, closed question, to understand about lifestyle, what they doing usually, if they have a good lifestyle, if they do some sport, some activity. So you try to understand the person that you have in front, and from here I can plan the treatment with the client, of course. And if it's like I say, a sport injury, in a way is slightly easier because you might have already a background, a backup from a physio, an osteo, or a chiro. So when they see you, usually for a manual therapist, when they see you, probably you kind of already know what's going on, or they will tell you straight away, like I hit my shoulder, cannot elevate my shoulder, and so on. Same things. What did you do? When happened? And all these kind of open, closed questions to understand.
And so since you are seeing a lot of sports people, are you someone who does prefer a little bit of a harder treatment, a little bit more into the trigger points, a little bit more of that targeted approach, or do you like sort of giving a general massage? How does that work with you, and how does your treatment work? Yeah.
So this is a very good question. Thank you for asking, because at 2021, we still have in a ways an understanding of a treat. In many people, maybe in New South Wales, what I could see, then strong massage equal better result. Where we for fact know then, for example, if we apply myofascial release, is a very gentle release, especially for sport people.
Yeah,
there is a thousand of article and about differentiation through a session with a myofascial release, and after they do their training, and how much better they feel because they feel free to move, rather than a very deep tissue massage where they have some dome for the next few days. So my style of treatment is a very gentle release, and that's my goal, is to let the client understand, because some people, they might not satisfied, and when mentally you're not satisfied, you don't really can see the benefit on it. So like I say, it's become always about mental things. That's why I always incorporate like a mindful approach, because we well know, then placebo effect. If I, put your elbow into that's what you want to feel, you will definitely feel better. If I do a gentle release, then manually I did a great session, but mechanically everything that I have to do, I do it. But you don't believe it, of course, you're not gonna get the result that you want to achieve.
Yeah.
So I'm really clear with the client when they come in, especially if they're my very muscular client, or very, they don't have that kind of treatment previously aware of them. Then this is how it works. If you trust me, we try, and you will see then your performance will increase even through a gentle release.
Yeah, definitely. It's so amazing what you said. It's sort of been ingrained into us that if we're not screaming on the massage table, it's not going to work. But sometimes that can have the opposite effect.
Absolutely. And that's, if we go into more osteopath and visual manipulation or craniosacral, I did a lot of course in craniosacral, and that's what the most result they have, really gentle release, and the outcome, they are magnificent. So you really understand that the body doesn't really need painful things to get release.
Yeah, definitely.
And if I give an example, if you stress, and if you already in pain, why you want to give more pain to the body? If you are in pain, what you're looking for is something to release, to shoot down a little bit. And that's what the body is calling for. So in any way, a gentle release can release muscle, release tension, release stress, release anything. So I'm more approach of gentle release. Of course, if I have a big person, then I have a big trap, definitely I will have slightly more deeper, but that doesn't mean that I have to put my elbow into it for 60 minutes into the person. You know what I mean? To get a result. And
100%.
And that is something that I really spend a lot of time to explain, because a lot of people still doesn't think this equation of harder is better, but harder is not better.
Yeah, definitely. And I guess that's why sort of showing people range of motion is so important. Hey, it's like, how can you move your arm? Oh, you can't move it. Now move it. And they're like, oh, wow, that's easier. It's like, look, that's why we didn't have to put you through so much pain. You can now move your arm better. So it's obviously doing something.
Yeah.
That's so important. And so when you're talking about that, do you also do sort of lymphatic drainage as well for athletes and moving lymph fluids? Is that part of your practice?
Not that often, okay. Not that often, to be honest. I do some cupping, stroking, recupping if I have to move some blood, and definitely through myofascial release is so slow. Then anyway, you move some fluid on it. So indirectly you move fluid as well. But no, I'm not an expertise on lymphatic drainage.
Yeah. Awesome. And then, so you were mentioning dry needling and cupping.
Yeah.
Are those two parts of your tool set as well?
90% of the treatment I use cupping and basically dry needling. Dry needle is a fantastic tools. Then I discovered here in Australia, because in Italy it's not legal unless you are a doctor.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah, only GP can do dry needling. And the funny thing is, JP, they're never gonna touch someone with a dry needling. So it's a little bit controversial things, but that's the law. So when I arrived here and I noticed then there was this opportunity as a dry needling, I was a little bit confused between acupuncture and dry needling, like many people are already. Back on the day, is acupuncture? No, it's completely different. So dry needling is a tool that I use basically 90% of the time, and it's very effective. Of course, consciousness on put a needle into a muscle of a person. There is, part of the body, lungs around, organs. So you have to be careful. And but if made with skills, of course, study and knowledge, are perfect tools to solve many muscular issues into the body, especially with people that do sports.
And so why would you use dry needling over, say, a trigger point release with your elbow or your thumb? How have you found they're different, and how do you apply them differently for your own practice?
Look, trigger point, we know that they are a fixed point. We already know where they really are. Plus, you of course, manual skill on touching. Okay. And I prefer needling simply because you go directly into the muscle point first. Is very effective. And second, is a part of, for us as a manual therapy, using your finger or your elbow for 5 to 6, 10 hours a day, every day, is something then, of course, you have to consider. So a good part is also to save energy, mentally energy, and help me also, if I spend less energy, to be more focused during that period of time of working during the day. So is a tools that for me is a perfect tools and have a lot of benefits. Of course, depend on where, which kind of position the body. I try to use it most of the time, but if I have to do it with with my thumb, with my elbow, I go there. And it's something that also is a time saver. The time that you stuck a needle in and you do your job is very quick. So I also do, for example, 30-minute consultation only for dry needling, because some people really like dry needling and they understand and they don't have to see them also for an hour. So that's something for the client important, as they don't have to spend that much amount of money to come. They need, if I need to see them only 30 minutes for a few needle, more than welcome to come for 30 minutes for just a needle session.
Yeah, wow. That must be a game changer, especially for people who are busy and athletes who just want to sort of get in there and get their problem fixed and go. Like, that must be really good for them.
It is for everyone, especially even for people that work in a desk all day long, upper trap, they always tight. So going through needling is very easy, and it's a quick relief for tightness, of course, of the muscle.
Yeah. And so then, do you also give people stretching advice, and do you give them like sort of exercise advice and how to fix, and maybe how to fix muscle imbalances because of your sporting background? How does that fit into your therapy? Yeah.
Another very good question, because unfortunately, majority of the people, when they book a massage or treatment, I rather to call treatment in this case. In my case. But there is still this common idea where I book for an hour, I want 1 hour of massage. So, and it's completely different the way than me and many other, manual therapists want to treat people with a broad perspective. So means understanding, focus the plan, and also give you some advice, stretching, and so on. And that's something then probably many like me find it slightly harder to get the person and to, let's say, target a specific kind of people. because, like I say, usually last 5-10 minutes I spend it for stretching, if needed, of course. If needed, stretching, positioning, teach them a few exercises for home, because 90% of the job is the client and does it at home, but they don't understand it. And so you can come 10 times a month, but if at home you don't do your part as a training, strengthening, stretching, you can pretend that it's going to be some improvement if you don't follow up at home. So in saying that, as you ask, yes, technically I'm really happy to help people, to give them some advice, but some people that are more focused, I book for an hour, I want an hour massage, so this is something then, and that's probably what I find slightly harder for in Australia is it's not like a pyramid system, but it's more about massage therapists. We work in conjunction, manual therapists, a lot with physiotherapists. But there is another perspective of massage therapists that is under the same name, but they purely do massage more for relaxation, Thai massage or Swedish or whatever is they specialize on. So, and there is not kind of a link between physiotherapists and manual therapists then doesn't want to really study physiotherapist, but at the same time they don't do relaxation or anything else. So in this, I think we still there is no middle line between. So it's really about target yourself into it. But this is the hardest part, because you need client, of course, to get the clinic or your practice going, and you need to spend money in marketing, market yourself, let them understand what you're doing, to make them happy and to be happy as well. Like I said, I have nothing against relaxation or any kind of, because these are all very important. But it's about, if a client come and expect me to relaxing for 90 minutes, and I do it, but it's not what potentially I want to do it, because I want to target slightly more different clientele.
Yeah, definitely. And it's kind of like what you said. It's marketing yourself to your own specialty and trying to get clients through the door so that they're happy and you're happy, and you can actually give them what you're good at. Because there could be another massage therapist that's fantastic at relaxation. And so you're sort of like, well, go see them. And then when you want some targeted relief, or if you want something better, you're better off coming to see me. I guess that's really, like you said, perfectly. It's just about marketing the words we use. Rather than saying massage, we use therapy or we use treatment, so that we can actually alleviate those expectations a little bit more of our clients before they walk through the door.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, this is I think is the main things. Like, for example, I know that in Melbourne, for example, myotherapy and myofascial release is much more advanced than in Sydney. There is actually a lot of clinic than they saw myofascial release clinic. When in New South Wales, we are probably more slightly behind on massage and elbow and painful, and still old school probably in a way. Let's call it old school. Yeah,
definitely. Well, this has been awesome, Enrico. Thanks for sharing yourself with us. We're coming up on time, so
thank you.
If people want to book in with you, where can they go? Where's your contact details? Where's the best place to see you? Where's your clinic? How do we get in contact with you?
At the moment, I'm in New South Wales, based in Barrow, 1 hour from Sydney. I work in Sydney in a physio studio a couple of days a week. I have my own website, is mindbodytherapy.com.au. And there is all the treatment there where you can book. It's very simple to book. Send me an email. In Instagram, I have an Instagram page where people contact me through there as well. It's Enrico Therapist. Very simple to remember. And so at the moment I basically work between here and Sydney. And through Instagram, then now everything is social. So through Instagram or through my website, mindbodytherapy.com.au, you can book your treatment.
Perfect. Well, guys, as always, the links will be down the bottom, so just click on through and go see Enrico, because I think that you'll get some really wonderful results. But we'd just like to thank you. We'd just like to thank you so much for coming on tonight, Enrico. It's been awesome sharing the space with you.
Thank you very much, and thank you for having me. And I really appreciate the effort that you put, guys, to spread the voice and to give a space to us as a therapist. And it's really appreciate that. So thank you.
It's our absolute pleasure. And guys, have a great night, hey, and we'll see you all next time. See ya.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to Therapist Spotlight. If you would like to know more about ANTA, visit us at www.anta.com.au.